What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be tackling one of life's big questions. Can you soothe 2 with PRO-Q3? And the answer is kind of. So this is just a little bit of an experiment. The idea came about after I heard about a mixing technique where you use pink noise as a reference. And the reason being that pink noise is kind of a very, very natural frequency curve, I suppose. Then I thought, well, if that's the case, then perhaps I can try to use pink noise as a reference within PRO-Q3 and use the match EQ and dynamic EQ capabilities as a way to maybe do something like SOOTHE does. I don't use SOOTHE, so I don't really have anything to reference it against, but from what I've heard, we might be able to do something similar, at least. Let's have a look. All right, so the first step here is to get our pink noise into PRO-Q3 as a reference. So we click down here to the Analyzer pop-up menu, EQ match, and we're going to set input, which is how we're going to record the pink noise into PRO-Q3. So it's ready and waiting. So we press play on the pink noise. Once that's stable, save the audio like that. Now we've got a reference. Go back to the menu here, and there's a save input as reference spectrum. I've already done that, but once you've saved that, you can move on to the next step. Moving over here, we've got a sound that I'd like to attempt to soothe. So this is just a Jupiter sample. I put together a chord. Sounds lovely, but let's see if we can make it a little bit more soothing. In hindsight, I should have got a harsher sound. But anyway, let's see what we can do. Right, so this is a fresh instance of PRO-Q, and it's on the track with our Jupiter sound. All right, so we're jumping into the Analyzer menu here. We've got EQ match. Set our reference as pink noise. And then we're going to play the Jupiter sound into the EQ. All right, match. And it looks pretty hectic. I'm going to turn the bands right up to full. I guess the more we have, the more control we're going to have over our sound. I'm not a PRO-Q expert, so if anyone wants to jump in and correct me on things, please join in. Join in the conversation. Finish. Now, this looks a bit hectic, doesn't it? Looks a bit crazy. Adjusting the visual layout here to 30 dB so we can see a bit more of these bands. So I'm thinking that we don't really want to boost our Jupiter sound to match pink noise. We only want to use the reduction to make it soothier. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these boosting bands. You can select them and on Mac hold Command. And in this little hover box, you can just hit X, and they're all gone. So now I've only got our reduction bands. Some of these don't really make sense, so I'm going to adjust the Q on these so that they are a bit more reasonable. Just these 2 big ones, so that they're not really clashing with any of the other bands. Now we're going to select them all and reset the gain to 0. All right, so now we've got this many bands that PRO-Q3 has determined are troublesome frequencies in comparison to the pink noise reference. So now with them all selected, we go into the drop-down menu here and say Make Dynamic. All right, so now whenever the Jupiter sound hits within those frequencies, the EQ here is going to jump on those and turn them down. I'm going to grab this little red slider here and adjust dynamic range to make it a bit more intense, just so you guys can hear what's going on. So we'll do a before and after. Now, if you're not in headphones, you might not hear the difference there. It's pretty subtle. We can go extreme with this. Again, with this red slider here, make sure they're all selected as before. Pretty extreme, not really doing anything beneficial to the sound. So once you find a range that's pretty pleasing, you can then also use this mix adjust here to remove it altogether, or go even more extreme by boosting it up to like 200%. So these settings are going to be relevant to the individual sound. So don't copy these. Use your ears, as always. Make adjustments to whatever sound you're working with, because every sound's different. All right, for our next example, we've got a little vocal sample here by my friend Lauren. That's raw audio straight out of the mic, so zero processing going on that one. Let's see what our new technique can do for this. All right, this time I'll just leave the amount of bands down, see if that makes any noticeable difference. Once again, visual cue up to 30 dB, go through and select all of the boost. All right, again, this one, a little bit weird. Actually, let's go back and leave them and see if it works. All right, so we're going to drop all the gains back to 0. Drop down menu, make dynamic. And before and after. All right, it's subtle, but I think that kind of works. All right, so what do you guys think? Jump in the comments, let me know. Hope you guys found this useful. If you've been enjoying the content, or if this is your first video, please jump in and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Also, please go check out my Gumroad. There's some free sample packs over there, also some premium ones. If you want to subscribe to my Patreon, all the links are below. Go check out the sounds. Some free goodies hiding over there, wherever you look. Now, I think that's it for today, guys. So thanks so much for joining in. I really hope this was of some value to you. Hope you have a beautiful day and go write some tunes.